Hello, everyone. I was just working out in a basement because, of course, it's quarantine and all the gyms are closed. But I don't want to lose a little bit of muscle mass that I have, a little bit that can't really grow. But yeah, so I was just thinking to myself while I was working out, and I have a mirror down here, not because I'm vain, not any more than anyone else is, but I like to see if I have good form so that I don't injure myself. Um, but something crossed my mind. I said to myself, what do people actually see when they see me? You know, and you can comment below and tell me what will cross your mind if you saw me in public and I didn't say a word and you just saw me walking by. But I thought about it and I had to do some self-reflection because I'm not going to be unrealistic and go ahead and judge the world for seeing me the way they do. Because I know the history of stuff. I know why why people may see me a certain way. But as a romantic asexual, it can make it even harder than it already is to find someone. So, just give you a little history of all of this. Growing up, I was a very skinny kid. I was actually very pretty. Like now I look back at pictures, I looked more like a girl. And before I went through puberty, I was very pretty. Um, and I used to get teased for it. I remember one day there were some little kids. I was like 12, and some little kids were like, "Excuse me, are you a girl or a boy?" And I was there with this girl, and I was so embarrassed. Um, and then the bullying happened early part of high school, and then the rejection phase started later on in high school when all my friends would they would try to get girlfriends and stuff, and I was under peer pressure. I wanted a girlfriend too. I didn't know what to do with them, but I wanted one too, and I would get rejected all the time, like all the time. My self-esteem was non-existent. I had none. um, then when I graduated high school and stuff and I started working, that's when people started saying you're handsome or whatever. But at the same time, like, I was not desirable based on other people's standards. I just wasn't. No one really liked me. And for a moment they did. But then I came to America, and then I was in New York. I was among I think it was the area I lived in. It was Jamaica, Queens. It was a lot of black people, a lot of Hispanics. And I tried to go on dates and stuff, and people were just not interested at all. Of course, these times I didn't know I was asexual. I didn't know there was a name to it. I just knew that I wanted someone, but I didn't want the sex part. It was kind of weird. But anyway, it wouldn't get to that anyway because people just weren't having it. And I remember I would ask, I was so desperate. I would ask people stuff like, is something wrong with me? Is it my hair? What is it? And then I moved to Pennsylvania, and then the place I was living in Bloomsburg, and it's not even predominantly white. It's like 99% white. The black and Hispanic people there are from the college. So anyway, I started realizing something. Like people had a lot of stereotypes, and I'm from Jamaica, so I don't know about these stereotypes. Like I really don't know about them. And a lot of times people would ask me things, and I just didn't really know why they would ask me these things. Like, for example, they would ask me stuff like, do you smoke weed? Are you moving? And I'm like, moving? Or are you dealing drugs? I'm like, no. Or they'll ask, oh, I know you're aggressive in bed. And I'm like, do you? Am I even anything in bed? What are you talking about? Of course, the biggest one is the BBC. I'm not even going to say what it is. Go search. It's not World News. It's not the British Broadcasting Corporation. But that's what everybody would ask. And I always said to myself, like, what are they talking about? Like, are they watching too much porn or something? Because, I mean, porn has categories. And if you judge a population of people based on porn, you're going to be misled because they have a category of people. You know, everyone and anyone can't go do porn. Um, and so after my little relationship, which I will say up to date is the best one I've ever had, it's the only time I've ever felt love outside of, you know, I didn't feel like I was loved because of my skin color or anything. I just felt loved. And I messed that up, I will say. Um, Maybe that's why I'm cursed. But anyway, after that, I decided to work out because, you know, I wanted to get the attention. You know, I still wanted the attention. I still wanted to feel desirable, even though I knew it was likely that I would never have a relationship anymore. But just to have the attention would make me feel valid. And I always wanted to grow out my beard, of course, but everybody was kind of scared that people would think I was a terrorist. So I grew out my beard and I started working out and I started getting tattoos. Now the tattoos is a different story. I did it because, you know, I started thinking to myself, well, if no one wants me anyway, why am I worried that I'm going to chase off the right people? You know, I'll just get tattooed anyway. Then I moved to a city. And then I started realizing that people were associating my image with the wrong things. And the worst part, what is worse than being judged negatively because of how you look is when you're desired for these negative stereotypes. Because I am nothing, and I will repeat, I am nothing like the black stereotypes that people have. Nothing at all. When I went ahead and I started figuring out what the stereotypes were, each one of them made me cringe. Each and every one of them, because none of them applies to me. Okay, I grew up with both parents. I do not smoke weed. I do not drink dark liquor. I only drink Merlot or gin and tonic. I am not aggressive in bed. I don't really like bed business anyway, because I'm a romantic asexual. It means I like to cuddle and I like all them good stuff. You know, this whole greatness in bed thing, I'm like, is that a thing? I don't know. I don't get how. Anyway, you know, I desire relationships a lot, which is the next one that trips me out when I hear people say, especially, you know, people that are non-black will say, oh, I wouldn't date a black person because they don't really want relationships anyway. In fact, before anyone ever says where I get that from, I remember someone sat in my car, and I hope they're watching this, sat in my car and said to me, I love black guys, but I would never date one. Someone said that to me. Another person told my friend that their parents told them that to date any race on this earth, just don't date a black person. I've never been to prison. I've never been to jail. I've never had a speeding ticket, knock on wood. I don't have a criminal history. I currently work in direct care. Because I did that while I was getting my degrees. Unfortunately, COVID-19 came right when I got my master's degree. So I'm not expecting to get hired anytime soon. In fact, while I do this video, I think tomorrow is supposed to be my graduation. Hopefully they don't do a virtual, because I'd be pissed. But yeah, I love intellect. In fact, I am drawn to people that are intellectuals, like people that know a lot and still think they don't know enough, and so they yearn for knowledge. I am obsessed with people like that. Like when I listen to people that are so smart, and I'm not talking about book education, I'm talking about knowing a wide range of stuff. I'm just sitting there and I'm fantasizing that we're married and we're just sitting at the coffee table having coffee, and we're just talking a bunch of stuff and time's flying, and that's what I like. When people come to me and talk about all this, oh my God, I bet you're good in bed, all it makes me do is want to throw up. All I want to do is throw up. I want to run away from them. And over the years, I have ended up dating people that not only were sex positive, you can go back to my first video and I'll tell you all about that, but they also just liked me because of my skin color. And most of the time, I didn't know until later on in a relationship. And I can tell you something, if you're dating someone that likes you because of physical features, don't really expect to be treated that greatly in the long run. Because at the end of the day, you are just that to them. For example, a couple of relationships or a couple of dates I've been on, they didn't really want to know that I'm smart. They didn't want to know that, I aspired for great things. In fact, one person outright told me that they like black men because they just want the sex. They don't really want to hear too much deep conversation going on. And so I always end up at a horrible crossroads where I'll see intellectual people, I'll see free thinkers, and I don't even try to strike up a conversation with them because I know from experience they're going to be a little freaked out and it's not going to go too well, and my little fragile ego will be smashed again. Now, let me tell you something. This is one thing I say to people all the time. I'm not going to be unrealistic and act like, oh, look at me. People need to give me a chance. I know what I look like. I know what the prevalent stereotypes are. And if someone is not into the stereotypes, chances are they're not going to want to get to know me because the prevailing stereotype guides the way that they see the world. So I get it. I totally get it. But at the same time, I'm just telling you what happens in my world. A couple times I will meet people and they're shocked. They're awesomely shocked. They're like, oh, you've never been to prison? No offense, I'm just, you're smart. Oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, there are a lot of black men with beards and a lot of tattoos that are really smart. I can't say the media portrays us like that. They don't. And even the white men, like, you see a white guy coming down the street loaded with tattoos and a beard, you automatically think he's a biker or something. And it just shows that we all lose when we go based on stereotypes. We all lose. We lose the opportunity to meet great people. And it bothers me when, people are so comfortable to just come out and say to you or ask you questions based on stereotypes. This one lady asked me one night, it was Halloween, and I had one of them orange jumpsuits on, and she said, no offense, but have you ever been to prison? And I was like, no, ma'am. How about no speeding ticket? And she actually genuinely looked disappointed. Like, I really don't get it. I don't. And because my image may trigger sexual fantasies, it makes it harder for me to get to know people because of fear. And of course, me not meeting the stereotypes that they love. So my new tactic is to meet people at coffee shops. And I'm going to tell you how that works. I love coffee. I'm addicted to coffee. I'm addicted to coffee so much that I brew my coffee very strong and I don't put anything in it but a cube of ice to make it a little less hot. So when I go on dates, I meet at the coffee shop because I know 99.9% of the time I will never hear from them again. Because I'm not going to try to be someone else just to date someone. I'm too old for that. I'm 33. I'm going to be me, okay? I'm going to ask you stuff like, what do you do? Not that I'm trying to judge you or anything, just to kind of get an idea. If are you a people person, are you working and trying to, you're trying to do some stuff. You're trying to make life comfortable for you. I'll ask them stuff, and I don't ask people what books they read. I think that's just a little overkill. But I'll ask them, like, so what do you do for fun? You know, maybe they don't do anything for fun. That's fine. What do you think about this? What do you think? And I don't touch politics. And I'll be like, so what do you think about the world population? What do you think about disease outbreak? What do you think about stuff like that? What do you think about health? What do you know, that kind of stuff. And a lot of times they'll just look very disturbed, and someone will say, oh my God, I just got a text from work. I got to run in. Never hear from them again. But my coffee shop, I enjoyed my coffee, and it was a cheap date. It was like $3 for me, you know, so I didn't lose anything. A lot of times I'll be on like a dating site like POF, and I'm talking to someone, and you know, we've been talking for days, and I'll be like, okay, you're asking me questions that it's better for a conversation. It's too much to text. I'm at work. And I'll be like, could we exchange numbers? Look, exchanging numbers these days to me is the least of my problems, because I can block you. I can change my number. I can just simply not answer. It's not that serious. They'll be like, oh no, let's just talk on here. I'm like, okay, I don't know who you think you're fooling, but I know if someone else that didn't look like me and was more, you know, what you probably want to take home to your parents, you probably have given your number out a long time ago. I mean, there have been times I've met people and they still decide that, no, we're going to still communicate on a dating site, even though we've met in person. So I get it. Now, I'm not going to play victim. I'm not going to play victim. As I said, if I never date anyone else, I'm fine. As long as, you know, no one keeps bothering me and telling me the right person is out there. I just don't want to hear that. Leave me alone. The point I'm trying to make is stereotypes hurt people. They do. They really do. And especially when you're someone that defies all stereotypes, it really, I don't know, it really hurts. It really, really hurts, because you know that there are great people out there that would probably be more compatible with you, even in friendships. But no matter, even if they get to know you, it's like they start worrying about what other people are going to say. Okay? I could not tell you enough how many people I've met and even friends, and they were worried introducing me to their other friends. This one guy, he went ahead and went and told his female friends that, and we were supposed to be good friends. He went ahead and told them that a black guy is coming and if they're okay with it. And when I got there, the girl was like, I don't know why he had to do all that. Like, why? And I understand why he did it, but it just goes to show how deep these things go. You know, someone has to make sure it's okay for me to come by. Even though at the time he wasn't employed, they weren't employed, I was the only one employed. But he had to make sure the course was clear before I could make an appearance there. And stuff like that, it hurts. You try to ignore it, you ignore it, but every day you're kind of reminded, and you have to learn to live with it. You know, I can't change the world. I can only make myself happy. And if it means to just be me and say, fuck it, if no one else wants to get to know me because of what I look like, if people want to go ahead and judge me, fine. As long as they're not doing physical harm to me, or I'm not, you know, losing jobs because of how I look, it's fine. It's fine. You know, I know that people just unintentionally sometimes just have these biases, and it stems from somewhere. A lot of them just get up one day and be like, oh my God, people with markings on their skin, I'm going to be afraid of them. No one does that. You know, people, it comes from somewhere. It comes from media portrayal of people. It comes from, you know, it comes from society. And I get it. I see the stares sometimes. I see the surprise at work when I get up and I speak, and then they got wind of the fact that I just finished a master's of public health, and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, did I look like I couldn't? I mean, you know, but it all goes back to the point. I defy stereotypes, and it makes it 10 times harder to come across even friends that, would probably get along with me. And before I even wrap this up, because I could go on and on and on, I had an experience last year where I had a group of friends that were all professionals. They were high professionals, doctors and lecturers, and professors, lecturers, and Kirby, and professors or whatever. And there was a picture taken, and one of the doctors, like, he cropped me out of a couple of the pictures. Yeah, he did. And after that, I kind of slowly just drew, I took myself from the group because that hurt. I'm like, he's an ethnic person, and I get it. He may think that his family or relatives may feel more happier or confident that he's around white people, but there's this black guy with a beard and tattoos, this is going to attract too many questions, and so he cropped me out. um but as I said, I'm used to it now. It doesn't make it hurt any less. It does hurt, but I have to accept it. And now that I'm planning to do my whole chest, like all the way around with tattoos, and one of my legs, I know it's going to be even worse, but at the end of the day, I don't spend all my time with people. I spend all my time with myself. And if I don't love me, if I don't learn to fall in love with me and love what's in the mirror, then who am I? Who am I? Because right now, I will tell you, I'm in love with what's in the mirror. I'm in love with what's going on, all of this. I still have my insecurities. They haven't gone anywhere, but I'm in love with what I've become. And so, if you're having if you can relate to any of this, let me know in the comment section. But, as I said, at the end of the day, you just got to fall in love with who's in the mirror. Okay? And if you feel like others may never understand you, it's okay. It's okay. You need to understand yourself. Even if the world sees you as a monster, you're not. I know it hurts every day someone reminds you of it. Just go home and look in the mirror and tell yourself what you see. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. I'm gonna go eat something high in protein, probably just take a shake and go to bed because I gotta work tomorrow. But yeah, until next time, y'all have a good night.